What's up guys, my name is Ivan Valdovinos and on this channel I provide graduate school life and advice. So if you are new here, consider subscribing. For today's video, I wanted to show you guys a cheap and easy to make Mexican dish called a shrimp cocktail. Usually when I'm living on my own, an undergraduate student, or even a graduate student, I make this dish not only because it's easy to make and it's cheap, but also because all you really have to do is chop up multiple vegetables as well as just cook some shrimp and then mix it all together. It tastes really good, it's healthy, and you can make it right at home even if you have no experience in the kitchen. So let's get going with making the dish. So for this dish, you'll need a few ingredients. So I have here some sea salt tortilla chips, which I use to dip my shrimp cocktail. I obviously have some cooked shrimp, which I'll cook again just because I feel more comfortable cooking it again. You don't have to cook it, you just have to defrost it if you want, but I'm gonna cook mine. I have salt to season the shrimp cocktail at the end. I also have an onion, I have an avocado, I have a lime, I have 4 tomatoes, I have some serrano peppers, I also have 2 cucumbers, and some cilantro. And that's all the ingredients you need for this dish. In terms of kitchen utensils, you'll need a large spoon to mix the shrimp cocktail. You'll need a peeler to peel the vegetables. You need a knife to obviously cut the vegetables. I have 2 spoons here so I can eat and see if I like the taste in terms of how much lime I put and how much salt I put. I also have a pot here where I will boil my shrimp, and then I have my mixing bowl here where I will obviously mix all the ingredients. I'm going to start off by peeling the cucumber and cutting it. I do have 2, but I'm going to start off with 1 and see how that looks in terms of how much I want for my shrimp cocktail. Alright, now that we have our cucumber peeled, I cut it in half here because I want to take out the seeds here. You see those seeds? I want to gut those out, so I'm going to use a spoon to gut them out. But first you cut it in half, so it was like that. You cut it in half, and then you also cut this right down the middle here, and then you gut it. So let's go ahead and do that. Alright you guys, so we are finally on our last little slice of cucumber. I like to cut my cucumbers very small just because, I don't know, it gives it an extra little texture when you are eating the whole thing with your chips. And so I really like to cut mine really small, as you will see in a little bit. But really what I do is you cut them into little strips like this, and that's going to help you, and then you like stack them up like this, and then you chop away. I don't know the proper terminology for cooking, but I'm gonna try my best here. But you cut them, then you roll them up like that, and then you start cutting. That's how you're gonna get the small little square pieces that's gonna add a different texture to your shrimp cocktail. Do you guys see how small the cucumber is? You can make it any size you want, but I really like the smaller version of it. We are going to move on to cutting the tomatoes. I'm going to cut 4 of them. Again, what I like to do is I like to slice them in half and then gut it before I start slicing in the same way that I sliced the cucumbers. Alright, you guys, so now we have all of our tomatoes gutted. One of the key tips for this is once you have gutted it with your knife, go ahead and wash out the seeds in the sink. That way it's easier for you to take out. Something else to consider when you are buying the tomatoes, you want to buy the tomatoes that are a little bit harder and not squishy. That's going to make it much easier and cleaner for you to cut them and slice them in little squares for your shrimp cocktail. So we are finally on our last slice of the tomato. So I'm going to start cutting that up, and this shrimp cocktail is already in formation. We have 2 of the ingredients already cut up, and then we're going to mix. I really like making this dish because it's really honestly easy to make, and it only requires vegetables and shrimp. And so it's actually a light little dish that you can eat for lunch, you can have as a snack. It's a good party dish that you can also bring to like a potluck, or if you are meeting up with friends, or if you are watching a sporting event, whatever it is. It's really easy to make and it's quick as well. So I've been making this dish for the last few years, since I've been living by myself. When I used to work out in Wenatchee, I also used to make it as an undergraduate student. Even though shrimp is expensive, for me it's worth it, just because I can get 2 to 3 dishes or 2 to 3 meals out of this pot of shrimp cocktail. So you definitely want to consider it as one of your options for your meals if you are a college student, graduate student, or even just living as a young professional. So we are going to start mixing our onion here with the cucumber bowl. So let's go ahead and dump that in there. Make sure that when you're dumping it that you are careful, because it can go everywhere and just spill out of the bowl, especially if the bowl is really small. The next 2 ingredients we are going to slice are the serrano peppers, which I'm using 2. This you can actually choose not to put if you don't like spiciness. If you want it to be a little bit mild, choose 1. I like mine pretty hot, so I'm going to choose 2. And then I'm also going to start cutting my onion. You can tell I'm really bad at cutting onion. I don't know if you can tell, but look, I'm crying. So if you all know any tricks on how to cut onion, let me know. Obviously, I don't know the right technique. I'm not a professional chef, but my eyes are burning right now as I cut this onion. This is like probably the worst thing that I hate about making this dish, is cutting onion, because I don't know the right techniques. But it has to get done in order for the dish to come to completion. So right now I'm blindly cutting my onion. Don't try this at home. So we have now made it to the final 2 vegetables of this shrimp cocktail. So we are going to slice the lime in half. That way we can, sprinkle it around when we are done with the dish. We're also going to cut a little bit of the cilantro and mince it as small as we can. And then we're going to put that as well into our dish. now that we have all of our vegetables cut up, we are going to start mixing them together. The next part of this dish is to actually boil the shrimp. That way it's a little bit cooked. Like I mentioned earlier, this is shrimp or cooked shrimp already, so you can technically just take it out of the bag, probably rinse it, and then start chopping it up and putting it into your shrimp cocktail. But for me, I like to just, cook it again, boil it again, just because I don't know, I don't like eating raw things. But I'm just gonna go ahead and wash these, put them in my pot here, and then I'm gonna boil them for like maybe 5 minutes, and then I will start chopping those up and then putting it into my shrimp cocktail. I forgot to mention that prior to you boiling the shrimp, you want to take off the shrimp fishtail here, because it still has its shell. So you want to take that out before you boil the shrimp. So now I'm going to cut up my shrimp. These are jumbo shrimp, so I want to cut them into 3s. That way it's there's more shrimp throughout the shrimp cocktail, not just in one bite. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then we are going to mix it all together, and then we are going to show you the final product. The final thing we have to do is cut up our avocado, because it's going to serve as our garnish of the dish. Finally, to top it off, we are going to add some hot sauce. I like this brand called Valentina, and it's just hot sauce. I'm going to put a little bit of it because it's really hot. And remember, we did add the serrano peppers, so you want to make sure that you don't overkill yourself with too much spiciness. Alright, you guys, so we made it to the end of the video. We have our shrimp cocktail. There's different ways you can actually make this. So this is without the clamato. It's this tomato based juice that you can add to it. That's the more traditional route. I like mine without the clamato. It's more like a shrimp salad at this point, but I still call it a shrimp cocktail. So let's go ahead and taste it and see if I like it. It tastes really good. You can taste the salt, you can taste the serrano pepper, you can taste the shrimp here. It's pretty good. It's a good summer dish, and it's a really cheap and easy way to go about your graduate school meals or your college meals, or if you're a young professional meals. So let me know if you like this recipe and if you like these videos as well. I will share more recipes with you. If you do like these videos, tell me in the comments down below, and obviously like this video. Thank you for watching this video, and I will see you in the next video.